Hi, folks. After the previous tarot reading, one person posted in the comments that they'd like me to do a reading about the potential aftermaths on America of each of the candidates being elected, which I thought was a very interesting proposal, and um, I was actually having the same idea at the same time as well. Um, so I've decided to go ahead and do it. Um, it's interesting what came out. In terms of this, I've found ChatGPT's interpretations are a bit different from what I would interpret. Um, so, uh, Particularly in terms of the reversed cards, sometimes reversed cards can be an indicator of challenge or the kind of negative view of the card. Um, Sometimes they can also emphasize a coming out of the energy of that card, particularly if it's a negative card as well. So that's where I partially disagree, perhaps. Anyway, I'll go ahead and read uh, the versions that I've got from ChatGPT, and then I might add my own interpretations as well. Uh, the reason I use ChatGPT is I find it useful in very polarizing situations to get uh, a more emotionally detached kind of interpretation of what the cards are and an independent interpretation. Um, Particularly with predictions, which I don't think are always healthy in tarot. I think sometimes tarot is best used for asking for advice as opposed to necessarily predicting the future, because there are many possible timelines, and every time you do a tarot reading, um, there's a new moment, and the tarot cards will change even if you ask the same question in the future. So there's um, different possible outcomes. There's not one possible outcome, but in terms of this, I asked what the aftermath of um, of a certain nation of the two separate candidates were to become their leader. So candidate one was Donald Trump in this case, and for Donald Trump, I got the Seven of Swords reversed, the Hanged Man reversed, and the World reversed, or reversed cards. And for Kamala Harris, I got the Nine of Swords upright, the Knight of Pentacles upright, and the Death card upright, all upright cards. But some of the cards in reverse would be considered negative cards, potentially, if they were upright, and some of the cards upright could have a negative interpretation as well. So that's where it gets a bit interesting. Anyway, what ChatGPT has come up for Donald Trump is aftermath of candidate one, Seven of Swords reversed. This card reversed often signifies a revelation of hidden truths or the need for transparency. Under candidate one, issues related to honesty and accountability may come to the forefront, possibly revealing past mistakes or deceptions that need addressing. This could lead to a period of reckoning or reform. Now, that's interesting, I find, because what it could also indicate, it doesn't necessarily mean that's about deceptions with regard to Donald Trump. It's about deceptions that have been clouded over America in particular. So, and issues related to honesty and accountability in America. So it could actually mean a coming out of deception or corruption in a sense, possibly being a good thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that that corruption is to do with Donald Trump as per se. The Hanged Man reversed. Reverse this card represents a refusal to see things from a new perspective or an impatience to act without full consideration. This suggests that under candidate 1 there may be a lack of adaptability or a reluctance to embrace new ideas, leading to stagnation or poor decision making. It's interesting too, because I'd interpret the Hanged Man reverse as a period of coming out of, contemplation or stagnation. Not necessarily stagnation. It could be a period of coming out of a place where things have been in a kind of static energy for a while. So it could mean a more active energy. But this kind of interprets it with a more negative interpretation, suggesting lack of adaptability or reluctance to embrace new ideas, leading to a stagnation of or poor decision making, which is interesting. The World reverse. The card in reverse typically symbolizes incomplete cycles or unfulfilled goals. It may mean that under this candidate's leadership, the nation could struggle to achieve a sense of closure or completion, leaving certain issues unresolved and a sense of dissatisfaction or unfulfilled potential. Well, certainly that's a possible interpretation as well. Could be, promises that are unfulfilled, and certainly Donald Trump does make a lot of huge promises. Another interpretation that I would add there is it could mean a withdrawal of focusing on the world out there and a more look at focusing on the problems within America, which is something that Donald Trump has said. It could also be interpreted as the world having a more negative view of America, potentially as well. Or a rejection of the rest of the world to some degree, which is interesting too. Or it could also mean a destabilization in terms of the world being turned upside down, if you like. So there's many different interpretations there. The aftermath of candidates one's leadership could involve a period where unresolved issues or lack of vision may prevent the nation from reaching its goals. Efforts toward transparency might come to light, but without flexibility or long-term achievement, the nation could feel like it's treading water or dealing with unfinished business. Interesting. Candidate 2, Nine of Swords upright. This card often represents, this is Kamala Harris, anxiety, fear or distress. Under candidate 2's leadership, the nation may face a period of worry or distress, potentially due to the challenges or change or confronting uncomfortable truths. there could be a climate of tension or difficult times that weigh heavily on the public. Yep. I think either candidate seems to suggest that something like that is going to happen. Uncomfortable truths coming out of deception. Night of, well, this represents more anxiety in terms of that area, or worry or fear or distress. The Knight of Pentacles upright suggests reliability, hard work, and persistence, while candidate two's leadership may bring some initial distress or hardship, as indicated by the Nine of Swords. It also promises a practical, diligent approach to problem solving. This leader might be slow but steady, focused on building foundations and taking a realistic, methodical approach, which is not too dissimilar to how would interpret that card as well. Practical solutions. Death upright. Death is a powerful card symbolizing transformation, endings, and the start of new cycles. This suggests that candidate two's leadership may bring about significant changes, perhaps dismantling old systems to make way for something entirely new. While the change might be unsettling, it's usually necessary and can lead to rebirth and renewal. That's interesting. I have a feeling that she has a bit of 5 energy in her numerology from memory. Maybe I'll just open a new window to find her birth date. I know that Trump also has as October 20th, 1964, so that would be 2, 3, 13, 23, yeah, 5. So her heart's desire, her life path is a 5 energy, same as mine initially. I'm also a Libra, but her 5 energy means a life path of someone who brings about significant change, a change maker. Their path in life is to bring change. Ironically, Donald Trump's heart's desire number in numerology is a 5, so his heart's desire is to bring about change, but his life path is a 3, meaning a catalyst and a creator as well, very creative energy. Interestingly enough. So, overall interpretation, death upright. Death is a powerful card symbolizing transformation, ending the start of new cycles. I did mention this before. Funnily enough, death came up for Kamala Harris in one of my previous tarot readings about her, I think it was about her particular energy, or the energy that she brings. So that's interesting. Transformation, new era. Overall comparison, candidate 1 might lead to a continuation of unresolved issues, a reluctance to adapt, and incomplete cycles, potentially keeping the nation in a place of frustration and stagnation. Candidate 2 would likely bring initial hardship and difficult transitions, but with a strong commitment to hard work and transformation, setting the stage for a fresh start and potentially revitalizing the nation in the long term. From this interpretation, candidate 2's aftermath, that's Kamala Harris, may be more challenging initially, but ultimately has the potential for growth and renewal, while candidate 1 might struggle to bring about meaningful change or satisfaction. I think either way, there's friction and difficulty. I think Kamala Harris, if she were to lead, cannot ignore the huge amount of people who voted for issues that Trump was bringing to the surface. If Trump becomes the leader, uh, I think that there's also some of the issues that the Democrats were bringing to the surface. I also think, rather, if Trump becomes the leader, that again, there's going to be a lot of people fighting his leadership again, and protesting, causing blockage and challenge and trying to stall his leadership with these cards. It's not necessarily Donald Trump's platform, but it's that the tide of energy against him from the Democrats is so strong, whether it be through what people perceive as the truth or through media propaganda, that the tide of energy against Donald Trump will make it difficult for him still to make progress to some degree. So there is, all the cards for Trump are reversed, whereas all the cards for Kamala are upright. So it's interesting, but some of the reverse cards, like the Seven of Swords card, is a card of coming out of deception when it's reversed, because upright it's deception. The Hanged Man reverse, Hanged Man can mean stagnation, or it can also mean contemplation, healthy contemplation, or time of healthy contemplation. So that's where the Hanged Man is usually a more positive card, but in reverse it could mean that that negative version of that card as well. But it can also mean coming out of a period of settled contemplation, if you like, or coming out of a period of rest or reflection. And the world reversed could be seen in various lights, in terms of Trump wanting to focus more on America than the world, but also the world's vision of how they perceive Trump as opposed to how they perceive Kamala Harris. So it's interesting. I don't think it's entirely positive or negative either way. Although the Trump cards seem to suggest more friction or challenge or difficulty, whereas the Kamala Harris suggest more anxiety initially, but then transformation and practical solutions potentially. So it's an interesting reading. I think either way, there's going to be fireworks. I mean, I think the fact that it's on the 5th of November is quite propitious. I think whoever leads America in this situation, it's a transitional period that America is going through, and there's going to be challenge in either situation. So yeah, all I can say is good luck, and yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting watching what happens